What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, DWalk71, replaced Dave with a 4, and I am back with another video. This is going to be a long one. This is genuinely going to be a long video. This is WWE WrestleMania 37, the 2-night extravaganza event. Now that I, have time to experience both shows, go through it, rewatch some stuff from night one, because night two I didn't even get a chance to really rewatch, so I'm just going off the dome, and kind of going off the dome with night one too, because that was like 2-3 days ago, and I got sauced after night one of WrestleMania with some of the homies after the pay-per-view. So there's gonna be a lot of shit I'm not gonna remember. There might be some shit I forget, or but hey. This isn't Solid Monster Sounds Off. You're not about to get no analytical wrestling review. I'm not doing that. So, anyways, we do night one, 7 matches on each show. The first night started off terrible because there was a rain delay. So they made people, hide. Because they usually do those for all, outside sporting events, especially, football and whatnot. If there's, a huge rainstorm at first, they'll do a rain delay just so they can get everything set up, and then they'll continue it. But at least with football, you can still play in the rain because, it's football. It's an outdoor sport. Nothing can really stop football. But wrestling is different, much different. So they had to kind of, do a delay. So it was for a good, smooth 30 minutes when the pay-per-view started was just commentary, doing previews of certain matches and interviewing wrestlers backstage and whatnot, which I heard was all impromptu because they didn't know that it was going to do this. But once all of that happened, there was one segment with Bobby Lashley and MVP, and then Drew McIntyre came out and said, let's have the match right now. I'll get a referee, we can fight right now backstage. Then I think Kevin Owens got interviewed for his match at night 2 against Sami Zayn. And I think Sasha and Bianca also got interviewed as well, if I can remember. But anyways, after all of that, we opened up, because there's no pre-show matches. They did that on Smackdown. We opened up the pay-per-view with the WWE Championship match. The almighty WWE Champion Bobby Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre. This match was pretty good. Pretty good opener, in my opinion. And also, they had Vince McMahon open up, and I guess, he's excited to see fans or whatever. I really don't even remember what he did. He just, cut a promo and said thank you and welcome to WrestleMania, and we're still gonna not push the people that you all want us to push. Anyways, we open up with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley for the WWE title. Pretty good match. Drew McIntyre, this is he was supposed to be performing in the stadium last year, but the pandemic happened, so he finally gets to perform. But this time he loses. He lost the match, which was genuinely surprising because I thought that they was about to give Drew McIntyre one of those feel good ass moments or whatever, where he lost his opportunity to wrestle in front of a crowd last year, so we're gonna give it to him this year. Nah, they still with this Bobby Lashley stuff. I'm still mad because they really disbanded the entire Hurt Business for this, and I'm not over that. They really just said, Shelton, Cedric, we could do something with y'all with this group. Imagine Bobby Lashley coming out with the title. It's MVP, Cedric, and Shelton with the suits on, and then they just walk into the ring. You know how clean that would have been? That would have been amazing. And yeah, the match happened. It was pretty good. Like I said, I like their match from Backlash when they faced each other for the WWE title before, and this is pretty much just like that, where it's just two big guys just beating the crap out of each other for 15 minutes. It was a great opener. At one point, Bobby Lashley was at the top, and Drew McIntyre did the little suplex off the top where he rises up. There was a point where MVP got involved, and I guess there was a spot that kind of looked terrible because maybe the angle or just a miscommunication, but it looks like I think Drew McIntyre was probably going to go for a Claymore kick or something, and then I guess Bobby was supposed to get out of it, but it didn't look correct. It looked like there was something lost in translation. But we get towards the end of the match. Bobby Lashley puts Drew McIntyre in a hurt lock. McIntyre tries to fight out of it before he eventually passes out, and Bobby Lashley retains. Like I said, the match was really good. They both just went crazy in their movesets. It was just a very Hoss, big guy, tough man match. It was a heavyweight battle, to say the very least. And that is something we haven't had really for the WWE Championship in a minute, where it's just two titans going at it for the WWE title. It's usually like one big guy, one smaller guy, or, two little guys going after it, or two regular sized guys, but not two beasts going at it for the WWE title. So that was pretty cool, and that was a good little opener. It was actually one of my favorite matches that night, honestly. So after that, we got the tag team turmoil. Lana and Naomi versus the Riot Squad versus Carmella and Billie Kay versus Natalya and Tamina Snucker versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Now, this match itself was cool. I mean, I was paying attention to it. At the same time, I wasn't, because the team I was rooting for got eliminated first, and I was just like, oh, I don't care. So I don't even remember what happened. I just remember I turned my head, I looked back on my screen, they said Naomi and Lana was eliminated, and I was like, wow, Billie Kay, Carmella, okay, whatever. So then after that came out, the Riot Squad came in, they did some stuff before they eliminated Carmella and Billie Kay, and it seemed like throughout this match it was to set up a Riot Squad win, and then they could go after the titles against Nia Jax and Baszler on night 2 for the women's tag titles, and that would have been a more entertaining match than the match we actually got. Jesus Christ. But it was cool. I guess, but Riot Squad just kept prevailing. They kept taking out tag teams. They eliminated Carmella and Billie Kay. Then after that, there was against Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. There was a point in the entrance between Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke where Mandy Rose fell because, it was raining. So, the stage is wet. So she fell during the entrance. That was crazy. They, encounter. They have a little stuff between these two teams before Rose and Brooke is eliminated by a roll-up from, I believe, Ruby Riott. It was like a schoolgirl. Then after that, it was Natalya and Tamina Snucker. And I was like, okay, yeah, they're definitely setting up for the Riot Squad to win. And no, they pulled a swerve. Natalya, I believe she put, I forgot which chick in the sharpshooter, and it looked like she was going to go for a pin, but instead she told Tamina to get up, and Tamina was like, I do not want to jump off this top rope. But she did anyway. She hits the splash, and she eliminates, it was Ruby Riott then, I guess. Yeah. So they go for the splash, and they pin Ruby Riott. So now the new number 1 contenders is Natalya and Tamina. The whole point of their gimmick is that they're multi-generation superstars, and they're tired of just getting by off of their family names. But Natalya comes out to a remix version of her father and uncle's tag team theme song. So it's just like, if you was really about it, you would take one of these Def Rebel, CFO, generic superstar number 2 theme songs. But you aren't about that life, I see. So after that, anything? No. Here we go. Okay, so after that, we got Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Another match I enjoyed a lot on this pay-per-view, surprisingly. The whole story is that Seth Rollins is back. He has a vision. He wants people to embrace the vision. Cesaro, who is someone that they have clearly tried to show us that has been friends with Seth Rollins, he doesn't listen. So Seth Rollins attacks him and says, this is why you'll always be where you're at, because you cannot embrace the vision. And then also throw in Cesaro spinning Seth Rollins like 20-something times into the feud as well. Sprinkle that in there. Seth Rollins actually came out to a new theme song, which I have to get used to. It started off with a Burn It Down, then it was just like a bunch of just madness. It's going to be something I get used to for sure. And then Cesaro came out. He got a huge pop. And the match started immediately. Cesaro came in with the uppercut. Lots of, back and forth. There's a Falcon Arrow for a near fall. I like this one part in the match with Seth Rollins, because he just added this to his moveset. He hit Cesaro in the back of the head with the elbow, and then he did the little low key back kick, and it's like I love that he's doing the move now. That it's like a part of his moveset now. So like every time he does it, Loki just gets pissed off on Twitter, and it's just like the funniest thing ever. So he did that for a near fall. Looks like he's about to set up for a curb stomp at one point. Cesaro reverses it into an uppercut. Like it's kind of similar to when Randy Orton, or at least the thought behind it was kind of similar to how Seth Rollins was going for the curb stomp on Randy, and then Randy lifts his head up and then catches him with an RKO, but instead Cesaro rolls up and just uppercutted Seth Rollins. He actually hit a neutralizer as well for a near fall. There's also a UFO from Cesaro where he just swung Seth Rollins on his shoulders. He swung him one time in the match before, and I felt like that should have been the finish to the match, which it was, but that should have been the build-up since it was like Cesaro swung that man like 27 times. But eventually, yeah, he hits the uppercut and he does the UFO, and then after he does that, he goes for the swing, and then he hits the neutralizer one more time, and he wins the match, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's a pretty good match. I was expecting so less from this match a little bit, just because like even though I know what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think. I can't think. I really cannot think. Even though I know that these two can go crazy in a match, you always have WWE expectations for things where it's going to be watered down. They're only going to do about 5% of all of their moves. But this match actually was good, and I feel like a crowd really increased. I feel like the crowd increased the match, because I feel like if this match is at the Thunderdome, I would like see it from another perspective where I would really be critical of it. But it was enjoyable. I thought the match was great. A really good match. So after that, we get to the Raw Tag Team title match. We have the New Day defending the titles against Omos and AJ Styles. Before the match starts, New Day come out with Big E actually doing the New Day entrance in front of the crowd, get them hyped for night one, and he has a match on night two, which we'll talk about later. He came out, did the whole all WWE Tampa Bay, don't you dare be sour, clap for your 11-time tag champs and feel the power. New Day come out, they do their thing. AJ Styles comes out, Omos is behind him. AJ Styles almost falls during his entrance. Well, he does. He slips a little bit. Like when he was about to do something, he like slipped and almost like fell on his face. That would have been crazy. But after that, the match itself was cool. I mean, I understood the purpose of it is to give Omos, whatever they want to call him these days. It's a way to get him in a match on a big stage and to showcase what he can do. And now he's going to be wrestling much more on TV. There wasn't really much from this match that was memorable other than AJ Styles doing a phenomenal forearm off of Omos' shoulders, because you know Omos is like 7-something tall, and he did the phenomenal forearm on Kofi. That was pretty cool. Xavier Woods got taken out at some point, and then Omos pretty much in the match just did big guy stuff, you know, where he throws his opponent into the corner, he runs his body into his opponent, and then eventually he hit the double choke slam on Kofi. AJ Styles told him to put his foot on his chest, and he pinned him, and that was that. And AJ Styles is now a Grand Slam WWE person. He's a part of the list now, because he pretty much, that was the only thing left for him to do. He won the IC title last year during the pandemic. He was already U.S. champion multiple times. He was WWE champion multiple times. It was about time for him to get those tag titles, but it was just like, when is it gonna happen? And then once he introduced Omos, I was like, okay, this is gonna work, because pretty much you could just have AJ wrestle and then just tag in Omos for like, you know, the hot tag, or just to do big guy stuff, and then they could just retain, because Omos is 7 foot tall. Ain't nobody gonna stop that. But overall, I mean, it served its purpose. It gave Omos a showing on a big platform. The right people won in this situation. It was cool. It is. They did what they did. After that, we got, oh Jesus Christ, we got the steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon, where the whole premise of this story is that Shane McMahon keeps calling Braun Strowman stupid, and then proceeds to show Braun why he is stupid. And that's the story of this match. Literally because he calls him stupid. Braun, I don't know, whatever. So the match itself, I thought that they were going to do the finish where, Braun throws Shane McMahon off of the cage through a table, and then Shane wins off of that, and they could continue the story that, oh, Braun is really stupid. But they actually tried to make a whole thing out of this. It's just stupid. Because they really try to make it seem like it's a disease to be fucking stupid. Like, it is, but you know what I mean. Like, it's a make-a-wish disease to be stupid. Because, like, in the match, Shane McMahon really just tried to outsmart Braun by trying to, use his lackeys. He used Elias, which is crazy because Elias was in the Shane McMahon story when he was doing the Roman stuff. So now he's like, oh, we need you again. Him and Jackson Riker. They pretty much gave Shane a chair to use. He used it. Eventually, Braun started, fighting back. Shane took a piece of, like, some metal piece off the cage and hit Braun with it, started attacking him again. Eventually, he gets Braun down. Shane is climbing. He's on the other side of the cage. Braun looks at him, and Braun rips the cage off. Like, the actual cage just rips it off. Don't know why. Just rips it off. I mean, I know why, but, like, come on now. He rips it off, brings Shane back into the ring. No, he didn't bring him back into the ring. They went to the top of the cage, and he threw Shane off of the top of the cage. And I was like, yeah, y'all got it. So then after that, Braun Strowman just cut a whole promo in the middle of the match. This is for everybody who has ever been made fun of or been called stupid. He said, before he threw Shane off of the cage, because Shane took a bump. And it was like, you took a bump for nothing, bro. You took a bump literally for a feud that nobody's going to remember a month from now. Unless y'all continue this garbage. So anyway, after that, he picks Shane up, goes for the running slam, and pins him. But he was like, this is for everybody who's ever been called stupid. And da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, wow. If I was an idiot, I would feel like I was represented well. Because that was fucking stupid. Oh my god. Anyways, after that, we get to the co-main event of this pay-per-view, which was Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. This match was kind of bussin'. Like, I messed with Bad Bunny's entrance. He had the Becky entrance where he showed up on a truck, but I think that's like a part of his album. I think his album is like based off of like a world tour or something, and trailer truck bus, world tour, whatever. Because they actually promoted his tour on night 2 after the match. But this match itself was actually good. Bad Bunny did well in this match. The match started with The Miz and Bad Bunny. He does a bunch of stuff. He does like a tilt-a-whirl, a spinning tilt-a-whirl, Hurricanrana, which was cool. Bad Bunny did like a dive to the outside. He took a lot of punishment too. Eventually he tagged in Damian Priest for the hot tag. Damian Priest started going crazy. The fans are actually going nuts for Damian Priest, which is a good thing. He started doing a little, running ass first into his opponents into the corner. He does his kicks. Him and Bad Bunny do a double Falcon Arrow. There was another spot. Oh my gosh. There was another spot where Bad Bunny does a dive to the outside, and he actually does a Canadian destroyer onto John Morrison onto the outside, and I lost it. Because I was like, Bad Bunny? He did a Canadian destroyer to John Morrison, and it looked legit. Like, it looked like he really did it. Like, it didn't look like John Morrison had to, add extra help to it. He genuinely looked like he could pull that move off. So after that happens, Damian Priest puts The Miz on his shoulder, and then Bad Bunny goes to the top rope and hits a crossbody to Miz off of Priest's shoulders and wins the match. So after that, he wins. Really good match, honestly, for a celebrity match. It seems like these celebrity matches are starting to actually become like good, because they used to suck, because it seemed like the celebrities didn't want to actually like get their feet wet and like actually wrestle. Wrestle. Like, they'll just do like one move, or they'll just go in and throw a fake punch, and then the wrestler has to sell death to it. But for the past couple of last couple of celebrity matches, it seems like the celebrities are actually trying to be fully committed. Stephen Amell, he was actually training. Pat McAfee was training, and he ended up having like one of the best celebrity matches I've ever seen because he was committed. And then Bad Bunny as well. He had a pretty good match. I gave it 3 Pat McAfees out of 5. It actually makes me want to see a Pat McAfee and Bad Bunny match now, and then they could just fight for, I don't know, something, the Celebrity WWE Championship or whatever. But yeah, good match overall. Bad Bunny did good. I would love to see Bad Bunny in Lucha Underground if Lucha Underground was still a thing. I feel like he would fit the vibe perfectly for that show. But after that, we get to the main event, a match I've been looking forward to. Build has been mid, but it's between 2 women's wrestlers that I am huge fans of, and that is the Smackdown women's title match, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Main event. Bianca Belair won the Rumble. She eventually chooses Sasha Banks, and then they start to throw in the Reginald story, which is completely forgotten about. I don't even think they mentioned it. It was more, it seemed like from the build up package, it was more like Bianca's the rookie, Sasha is the veteran. Who do you think you're gonna be able to beat the vet? You know, the story I wanted from it, but it wasn't what's been playing out on TV. They can try to act like that's what's been playing out on TV, but it wasn't. There was Reginald involved because they had 2 title matches where Reginald got involved, and that's what caused Sasha Banks to slap Bianca Belair. And then she slapped her back. She attacks her, and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm the vet. You're the rookie. Whatever." But the match itself was great. Bianca Belair came out first. Pyro. She got drones with her logo in the sky. Sasha Banks gets the entrance as well. New gear. She got red. No, not red. She has blue and green in her hair now to kind of match her attire, which is interesting. Very interesting to say the very least. Kind of look like a Sierra Miss can. Sasha Banks got her own drone like logo in the sky where it was like the sunglasses, but it was pretty dope. So after that, we get to the match itself. The match itself was great. It told an amazing story. It was literally the vet versus the rookie story, but it was told like incredibly well in this match. It seemed like everything Bianca Belair did in this match, Sasha Banks made her earn it or made her work for it. It seemed it started off with Sasha Banks is basically getting, I would say, manhandled, but woman-handled by Bianca Belair at points. Because look, she's about to go for the face buster at one point before Sasha reversed it. But it was a lot of the match was just like Bianca Belair doing stuff, and then when she would about to do something huge, Sasha would just stop it and then do her own type of stuff. There was a suicide dive at one point from Sasha Banks. It was the safest suicide dive she ever did in her career. When I say safe, I mean it was safe. Condom. That's how safe it was. It was a safe suicide dive. We get later towards the match. There's all throughout the match, there's been teasings of Sasha Banks pulling on Bianca Belair's braid. She uses it to choke her with it at one point when she put her in a bank statement. She pulled on it to use it against Bianca. So you knew at some point Bianca was going to use it to attack her, and that's exactly what happened. Sasha Banks did a frog splash for a near fall. There was one point where Bianca does a 450. She misses. She also does a standing shooting star press, which is really impressive. She goes for the 450, and this is the point I'm talking about where she has to earn everything. Sasha Banks puts her knees up and, counters it. But then Bianca Belair goes for it again after she did more damage. She goes for the pin. Sasha kicks out. Bianca goes crazy over the pin like she can't believe it. But it's like, you ain't never beaten nobody with a 450. Stop trying to act like you have. So after that, we get towards the end of the match. Sasha Banks is pulling on her hair again. So what does Bianca Belair do? Hits her with the hair whip, and she left a mark on on Sasha Banks' side. I was about to say on Bianca Belair's side, like she hit herself. She left a nice little mark on Sasha Banks' side from that. And then after that happened, she tries to go for the KOD. Sasha Banks tries to get out of it, tries to go for a backstabber before they both are in the kill switch position, where Christian is trying to turn his opponent around, and basically they do it until Bianca Belair reverses it and puts Sasha Banks in the KOD, hits it, and pins Sasha Banks and wins the SmackDown Women's title. And I was excited. I was happy to see that because like I said, I'm a fan of both women, but even more, Sasha Banks, I was a fan of since she started NXT, and Bianca Belaire, she impressed me in her like first big match against Kairi Sane at the Mae Young Classic. That match was fire, and I was like, okay, yeah, she's gonna be something one day. Like, she checks all the criteria. She just, needs to get a character, and she'll be all right. And she got something. She got a persona, and it works. So I was very happy to see her, main event WrestleMania. Not only main event it, but then win the title. That was pretty great. I enjoyed that. Actually, when the show went off air, because they cut it off so early, Bianca Belaire was actually celebrating with Montez Ford. He was carrying her on his shoulder. She was celebrating, pyro, everything. That was great. I enjoyed it. It was a really good main event, a really good put together main event. It was pretty good. Like I said, at night one, at first, I was kind of bored of it just because it was so many other matches on night two that I was looking forward to. That night one, I was like, let's get through this. But night one ended up being the show I enjoyed the most because it was consistently good. And none of the matches went over like 20 minutes. Like, the pacing of that show was great. And it didn't feel like the show was it didn't feel like the show was like was going on late, because each match was like, it was good. It was paced well. It was great. And that was night one of WrestleMania 37. Like I said, normally when I do these reviews, the video would end around here. But since I'm reviewing night two, and this is off the dome at that, because I didn't really get to rewatch none of the matches yet, like I did for night one, because I rewatched the main event and the opening match. Y'all just gonna get it raw dog. But anyways, night two, WrestleMania 37. Boy, what a way to start this pay-per-view. We open up the pay-per-view with another, oh, no, that was just the first one. Never mind. They open up pyro, somebody singing America the Beautiful, all that. Great, whatever. So we open up the show with Randy Orton and The Fiend. Randy Orton comes out, and I feel like this might be the first time I've seen this. I've seen Randy Orton in white trunks. I've always seen him with black trunks. Like, even before he was the Legend Killer and all that, or not even Legend Killer, Viper, all that. He would have on different colors. Like, I remember him having red, purple. Like, Evolution days, he had on red, purple, blue. I don't know if he had a green, but we'll just throw that out there. Pretty sure he did at some point. But I've never seen Randy Orton in white, so it was very interesting to see that, because I thought, oh, if he has on white, that means he's going to die. And then The Fiend comes out, but first it's the burnt, crispy, Fiend. He comes out with a hood on. He walks through some type of hallway, and then as soon as he walks, flashes is going off, fire, and the Fiend is just brought back to a regular Fiend after being set on fire in person and in life. I guess, I mean, this whole, everybody knows how ridiculous this whole gimmick is. And I understand it. That's why I like it, because of how ridiculous this shit is. But it is just like that. Okay, so the Fiend comes back in normal form after being set on fire. I would have actually liked to see him wrestle with the crisp look or whatever. He has on a new a new top. Like, he doesn't just wear a tank top anymore. He wears like a whole shirt or whatever. And the match happens. Once that happens, Alexa Bliss comes out. She comes out. She's excited, celebrating. Then there's just a giant, they said box-like structure, but I'm like, gee, it's a box. It's a Jack in the Box. Like, what is a box-like structure? Anyways, Alexa Bliss, she's, Jack in the Box. We all know how that goes. She, does the thing. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then once that happens, The Fiend comes out. The music plays. It is synced up perfectly. He's going crazy. He's trying to get the fans into it, which was like the worst part of this match, because they did not care, and I was just like, I'm dead. So once that happened, Bray Wyatt immediately jumps off of the Jack in the Box and attacks Randy Orton. The whole entire match, even though it was like less than 10 minutes, was with the red lighting, but it was much worse because they're in an open stadium instead of a closed stadium, so the colors just kind of threw it off a little bit. And the match itself, it was pretty terrible. I don't remember much from it. We get towards the end. Bray Wyatt is about to go for the Sister Abigail. He actually does a Brody Lee tribute. He does the yeah, and the whole you deal, because this is like his first match since Brody passed away. R.P. to Brody Lee, by the way. So he goes for the Sister Abigail when Alexa Bliss pops out of the Jack in the Box, and she is dressed up as a demon, and she has black ink just coming from the top of her head, and it's all just coming down her face. I'm going to leave you all to imagine what that looks like, because I'm pretty sure somebody that's listening to this has experienced this or have seen this image before, with a different color, of course. And she just has this black ink coming down her face, and Bray Wyatt just sees it. He's distracted. Randy Orton turns him around, hits him with an RKO, and he gets up out of there. And then once that happens, him and Alexa Bliss just stare at each other. The lights go out. They disappear. The fans boo. The fans weren't even in the match. And then they tried to throw in, to be edgy, because I don't think they were really chanting that. They tried to throw in the holy shit chants. It did not work. It sounded like it was staged. It didn't even sound real. And after that, the fans booed. And I was just like, this sucks. This genuinely sucks. I was trying my hardest to kind of, give this a chance and just kind of look at it with an open mind. But it was like, this is what this build up to was this. How do you redeem a terrible match at WrestleMania with an even worse match at WrestleMania? I guess, whatever. Randy Orton won. I was expecting for him to just die and then he could just disappear and just go somewhere for a second. But instead, he just he won. He beat The Fiend. The Fiend lost again because that's what The Fiend does. And yeah, that's it. After that, The Fiend had the little drone logos too in the sky, so that was terrible. But yeah, that was pretty terrible. So then, what do we do to follow up a terrible match? We follow it up with an even worse match. WWE Women's Tag Team Title match. Natalya and Tamina Snucker, who won the right to challenge for the titles in the Tag Team Turmoil in night one, face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the women's tag titles. I mean, it ain't really much from this match I can tell you, because I really didn't care for this match. I can tell you the end. Natalya went for the sharpshooter on Nia Jax. And when that happened, Shayna Baszler caught her slipping and choked her out with the Karafuda clutch. And yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna remember from this match. I thought there was gonna be a swerve in this match where instead of Nia Jax injuring someone else, she injures herself. Because it seemed like they were doing something type of injury angle or whatever. I don't know. This match was a damn disaster, and it sucks because I feel like the match would have been 1,000 times better if you threw in the Riot Squad just because they have a ready-made story. But instead, you just did two heel teams versus each other for tag titles at WrestleMania. Yeah. Anyways, after that, we get Sami Zayn versus Logan. Oh, Sami Zayn versus Logan Paul. That would have been fire. Sami Zayn with Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. This match was... The build-up of this match was literally... Sami Zayn's whole gimmick now is that he's a conspiracy theorist. He feels like every time he loses a match, it's not his fault. It's a setup, whether it's the ref or whether it's the production crew, or whether it's something, or it's always a conspiracy. And Kevin Owens is like, if I can't talk sense into you, I'm going to have to beat it out of you. And that's why they had the match. And they threw in Logan Paul because he got mentioned one time on Twitter, and then he started interacting, and then it turned into this. The match itself was cool. I mean, it was literally a PWG, let's just hit all of our best moves match, which was cool. Sami Zayn did a brain buster on the apron. That was pretty cool. I was like, whoa, that was crazy. Owens catches Sami Zayn with the pop-up powerbomb. That was pretty cool. Owens did like the little spinning suplex off of the top. I thought that was cool. Sami Zayn did a mean Blue Thunder bomb. Like I said, we get towards the end of the match. They're trading offense before Kevin Owens eventually Oh no, Sami Zayn did a nice exploder suplex into the turnbuckles too. I thought that was pretty cool. He misses with the haluva kick following the exploder suplex. Sami Zayn blocks Kevin Owens' stunner and then hits another Blue Thunder Bomb. Oh no. Sami hits the Michinoku driver at the beginning, not the Blue Thunder Bomb. He eventually then hits the Blue Thunder Bomb for a near fall. Another exploder. There was another brain buster. Like I said, this was literally let's just do all of our best matches match. Then eventually Sami Zayn gets caught with a stunner and Kevin Owens wins. That was it. I mean, Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick, but eventually, Kevin Owens wins. After the match, Logan Paul gets into it. Sami Zayn is upset because he thought Logan Paul was his friend and he was going to interfere in the match, but he didn't. He pushes Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is the heel, but the fans boo Logan Paul instead. And I guess he tried to give Kevin Owens a bump, and Kevin Owens, not a bump of cocaine, like a fist bump. And he hits Logan Paul with the stunner. Logan Paul sells it like an RKO. He literally just does like a flip forward after getting hit with it. And I was like, Jesus, that was amazing. That alone was a 10 out of 10. So after that, we got a match I really did not give a fuck about. Luckily, it started to pick up towards the end, but I really don't care for this match. We have Sheamus versus Riddle for the U.S. title. The right person won, I can tell you that. Sheamus won with the bro kick. Caught Matt Riddle out of nowhere with a bro kick. Like I said, the first half of this match was boring. It wasn't until Sheamus, I think, had like a running knee on Matt Riddle where it started to kind of pick up. And it started to become interesting and whatnot. But like I said, the ending of this match was the best part of the match. Sheamus hitting Matt Riddle with a bro kick after Matt Riddle was trying to do something. He kicks him straight in the face. Matt Riddle's mouth is bleeding. Attitude Era is back, y'all. But yeah, that was that match. I mean, it was pretty much just like, it was cool. I mean, it wasn't my cup of tea of a match. I'm glad Sheamus won though, because Lord, I could not stand another day with Matt Riddle as champion. They really ruined his gimmick. What made him special, they completely took it and put emphasis on it. So now he's just kind of boring. I'm kind of over Matt Riddle at this point. So I'm glad to see they're doing something else with Sheamus. So from there, we get the Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental Championship. Apollo Crews versus Big E. Really great match, by the way. This is one of the matches I was looking forward to at WrestleMania. Wale performs the theme song for Big E. Big E gets the big entrance because he's in his hometown. He gets Wale to perform his theme song with him. Pyro, he's in his hometown. He's got the feet in Tampa Bay attire, which was pretty cool, like colors and everything. Apollo Crews comes out with the spear, going crazy, and it's basically, they call it a Nigerian drum fight, but it's really just a street fight match. You know, they just want to add a gimmicky name to it. The match itself was great though. It was pretty good. I feel like if they would have added like 10 minutes to it, this would have been my match of the night, honestly. But the match was great for what it was. Both men were aggressive. There was kendo sticks. They were like hitting each other with kendo sticks at the beginning of the match. Like they were instantly, to emphasize that this is like a serious feud or whatever. Like I said, they're abusing each other. Apollo Crews takes a lot of big moves, which started to make me believe that, oh yeah, he is definitely winning this match. He took a Uranagi onto the steel steps. He took a spear to the outside at one point. Apollo Crews did go crazy. And then we get towards the end of the match, after Apollo Crews, because, I'm glad they used the stairs in this match, because that was a big part of the story, is that they used the stairs. So we get towards the end of the match. Big E, brings the table into the ring. Crews fights back with the Enziguri, I should say, not the Uranagi. Crews unloads kendo stick shots, but eventually, and then goes for, like I said, Apollo Crews is taking all the big moves. Yeah, this is something else that happened. Apollo Crews tries to go for a frog splash on the Big E on the table. Big E moves out the way, misses, and then as soon as Big E was about to go for the big ending, this big African guy with dreads comes out and attacks Big E, formerly known as Dabba-Kato, the Raw Underground Hall of Fame legend, the god himself. Dabba-Kato comes out. He attacks, because he's also from Nigeria. He attacks Big E, hits him with the Umaga thumb, and I believe he did a chokeslam, if I remember. But yeah, he's basically coming out to be Apollo Crews' heavy, which really brings me more interest into this Apollo Crews gimmick. And after that, he drags Apollo Crews on top, and Crews wins the United States Championship. So that was pretty interesting. I enjoyed that match because it was a pretty much a non-stop, we're going to beat the crap out of each other type of match. Much better than a match from... honestly, this might be their best match that they have had, because they've had so many matches, which is like, you know, the base behind the story. But match was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely intrigued to see what they do with Crews now. Is he gonna build like a Nigerian family, kind of like how Roman got, you know, the bloodline? Or maybe, you know, one idea I had was when we saw Apollo Crews backstage, he was with Roman Reigns. Now that he won a title, could that make Roman more interested into Apollo Crews, you know, to add another body to the group or whatever? But whatever it is, I'm just glad to see that they're doing something with Apollo. They're actually using him. They gave him a heavy, so clearly that shows that they have big things for him. So that's good to know. And then they're also pushing Dabba-Kato finally, so that's pretty cool. So after that, we get the Raw Women's title match: Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Rhea Ripley also has her theme song performed. She has Brutality, her theme song performed by Ash Costello. Who is, you know, I don't know nothing about that genre. I know people that know better than me, so I'm not going to botch it. All I'm going to say is WWE messed her up because her mic was terrible. It made her sound terrible. I don't think she's terrible as a singer, but the mic was, it was horrendous. They should have did something. Wale's mic was terrible too, but hers was even worse because she had to sing. Wale just had to rap. It is what it is with rap. She had to actually sing, and it messed everything up. Also, Big E, even though he had the performance, the odds were stacked against him. Let me just backtrack real quick before I get to this match, because it ain't really much I remember from this match, because I was so mad for a second. But Big E had so many odds stacked against him. He came out first as the champion. He had a live performance. Everybody knows you have a live performance as champion, you're gonna lose. And he came out first, and it was something else. And he was in his hometown, so that's why he lost. But yeah, backtrack. Whereas Rhea Ripley, she was the challenger. The odds work better. If you get a live performance, you have to be a challenger because you'll win the title. It happened with Rey Mysterio. He had POD perform his theme song. He won the world title in my hometown in Chicago at WrestleMania. So this is no different. The match itself was pretty great. For the most part, for what I did see. It was pretty much Rhea Ripley kind of trying to prove herself in this match. They were kind of trying to do the same structural match that Sasha and Bianca did at WrestleMania Night 1, but the problem was that I felt like they weren't building this match like that, or at least with the build up. It was more like Rhea's not ready, or Rhea is, this big superstar they picked up on Raw, but she feels like she doesn't have to, go through everything. She's going to go straight to the top, and that's what she did. But Asuka is pretty much like, you're not ready for me. And I guess that's what they were trying to tell with this match, and they did pretty much, where it was like, Rhea Ripley would have to work for moves, but it was more like she just took them in this match. Like she took liberties or whatever in this match. I mean, but overall it was cool, I guess. Asuka did a DDT onto the floor, which was pretty cool. That was interesting. They both get back into the ring, and then once that happens, Asuka tries to go for more things. Rhea does the inverted cloverleaf. Before Asuka gets out of it, she turns into an arm bar. They continue to fight each other. Rhea Ripley kicks out eventually, or gets out of it, I should say. Asuka goes for the Asuka lock, but it gets countered. Asuka is kicking Rhea Ripley again. She was doing that all throughout the match before Rhea eventually hits the Riptide. And she wins the match. And I was just like, wow, that is early. My problem is just like, I feel like they don't respect Asuka enough in this company. And it's really... It's unfortunate because Asuka is somebody that definitely was an MVP. Definitely was an MVP to WWE during the pandemic. She was the one that was constantly having people talk about her segment, her matches, and everything in between. And it just seems like they just don't care. You can give her all the titles, but they still treat her like garbage. She can't even get a win at WrestleMania. Like, what? Asuka can't get a win at Mania? Like, y'all really... Like, what? Like, come on, man. And then it's even worse for Rhea because you throwing her in there. She's women's champion. But who are going to be her challengers other than Asuka? Because you know Asuka's going to get a rematch. You got Charlotte, maybe. But that's it. The women's division is mainly heels. To my knowledge, I can't think of no other faces that they've used on TV as challengers for Rhea Ripley. So it's kind of like y'all already ruined the women's division. They're probably going to throw in Becky, which really they should have used Becky tonight or, you know, not tonight, but either on one of the two nights to get her that crowd reaction and to, you know, let us know that, oh, okay, there's somebody else to go after Rhea for. You know what I'm saying? Because she literally doesn't have any other competitors to go after from what I'm seeing. Because it seems like she's a heel now. So after that, we get a segment. Bayley comes out after Titus O'Neil and the racist hot dog. They cut some type of promo. Bayley comes out and she interrupts and she goes about how she, you know, because at Mania Night 1, she was on there messing with the NWO and NWO, Hot Dog Man and Titus O'Neil. And she pretty much was like ranting, you know, just doing Bayley stuff. And she actually gets pyro, which was hilarious. She's like, where's my pyro? And then she actually got it. And then after that happened, the Bella twins come out. They attack Bayley, because she told Nikki Bella to inform them that John Cena wasn't going to be here. Ooh. And then she gets beat up by the Bella twins. And yeah, so this is what we do to people who, you know, was also carrying the other half of carrying the women's division during the pandemic. This is the best you can get at Mania, is this. Anyways, the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion, by the way, too. Anyways, we get to the main event, triple threat match for the WWE Universal Championship, originally scheduled to be Edge versus Roman Reigns, and thank God it wasn't. Threw in Daniel Bryan so he could take the pin, which ultimately both men took the pin, technically, because Roman just doesn't give a fuck. The match itself, though, great triple threat match for the most part. It was a lot of slow spots to set up for the big spots, and I hate when they do those in triple threat matches, or just in matches in general. But I see it a lot in triple threat matches, where wrestlers will literally, there's like so many different spots all throughout the match, right? And in between those big spots, there's just time where they're just trying to build up to it, or they're trying to set up, or they're trying to do something, and it just takes forever, and it becomes to a point where it gets annoying. So the match itself, though, it was cool for the most part. The story being told was pretty much there, because Daniel Bryan at one point did get Roman Reigns in the yes lock, and they were trying to, you know, tell that story, because it seems like Roman Reigns is scared or is like in fear, even though he tries to act like he's not in fear when he gets put in a yes lock. So I like that they, you know, did that. Edge was being sadistic per usual. He did a concerto to Daniel Bryan. Jey Uso was constantly involved in this match. It seemed like every time Daniel Bryan did something, Jey Uso would get involved before he just got taken out, especially towards the end of the match. When it looks like Edge is about to kill Roman. Nobody went through a table, surprisingly. I feel like every triple threat main event match, somebody has to go through a table. Nobody, to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but I do not remember anybody getting put through a table. But yeah, we get towards the end of the match pretty much. get towards the end of the match, like I said, Edge takes out Daniel Bryan with the concerto. He's about to hit Roman with the concerto. But Jey Uso gets involved. He's about to hit Edge with the chair. Edge spears him. Then after that happens, Roman gets up. He spears Edge. Then he hits Edge with the concerto instead. And then he throws Edge on top of Daniel Bryan and pins both men in the main event. And I thought that was an amazing ending to that match. That was the best. Honestly, that was the best part of this match. Oh, I forgot to mention one part. Both Edge and Daniel Bryan had Roman in the crossface, and then they start headbutting each other. Edge and Daniel Bryan start headbutting each other during the match, or during that part. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I thought that was a really good ending because it shows Roman being dominant over two men. Pinning both of them at the same time is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen something like that in a match before, where the person pins both his opponents at the same time. I thought that was really interesting, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a pretty good main event overall. Overall, though, it was a good main event overall. I feel like it is much better than it would have been if it was just Roman and Edge. I can tell you that. Because I have not been, like I said, I've not been a fan of Edge since he came back, because I feel like he needs to be a heel. All of his best work in his career comes from when he's a heel. So, I don't know. I think from this, we're going to get a Daniel Bryan and Edge feud, which should be really interesting. Interesting set of matches. As for Roman, I don't know. I don't see really anybody going after Roman. Maybe Big E, but I feel like that's a Mania match you could build up to next year at least, where you kind of make Big E, the type of wrestler where he's a fun, happy-go guy, but when you piss him off, he turns serious, and then this is one of the situations where it does turn serious. But yeah, it was a good main event though overall. Good. Like I said, this is pretty much a 1 to 2 match show. Night 1 was 1,000 times better than night 2 in my opinion. Night 1, which is crazy because night 1 I was like, dang, night 2 is gonna be even crazier, and it wasn't. And then I was just like, you know what? Night 1 takes the cake between the two. So I enjoyed night 1 over night 2. Overall, though, another year, another Mania down. We're at 37. 38 is going to be next year in Dallas, and then 39 in LA, which I don't know. I might have to check that one out, see what that one's talking about. But it should be fun. It should be fun to see what's going on. Especially with Raw after Mania, they try to, book. They fail every time. And it's going to be real awkward watching WWE now, because they're going back to the Thunderdome and they're going to have the fake crowd noises again. And it's just like, I kind of want the crowds again. Like, NXT is actually doing it pretty well because they had a decent amount of fans to where it didn't look crazy and they all had on masks. But, and I was originally going to review NXT as well, but I couldn't, bro. I'm not going to cap. I couldn't. Yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. So, yeah, that's my review for WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. I decided to just supersize it into one fat-ass video. This shit is almost an hour. I was originally going to do NXT TakeOver Night 1 and 2, but that main event was so long, it just threw my whole interest off of reviewing. But I was like, I got to do WrestleMania. I did WrestleMania almost every year now for the past around 5 years now. Damn. 16, around 5 years I've been doing this. So I was like, I had to do WrestleMania. The video's gonna be late as fuck, but fuck it, who cares? Anyway, guys, you know what to do. Like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Do you support me all on my social media links down in the description below. Make sure y'all follow me on Twitch because I am actually streaming more now. I didn't stream this week because I was really busy, or last week I should say. This week you may or may not catch a stream from me because I got a lot of schoolwork to do. But if I can get all that done early, you might catch a stream for me sometime this week, either Wednesday, Thursday, probably maybe Thursday, maybe. It's a big maybe, but you'll see me streaming sometime this week. Birthday coming up Saturday as well, so you definitely won't catch me streaming Saturday, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun little week. Hopefully I can stream. I've been playing Spider-Man PS5. Hopefully I can get some gameplay on here soon. You know, just get some gaming sessions with my boys and just kind of edit it up and try to make it funny to an extent. I could try that and put that on YouTube and see how that does. Get my editing skills together. But yeah, just thinking out loud. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Wear a mask. Black Lives Matter. Peace.